Next thing we're going to do is we're going to skip over to part 7. I don't really want to touch into the use bind mounts right now, but multi-container apps. So as I mentioned, we may have a couple of things that we're running, and so multiple containers are going to be needed. In this case, we have our to-do app, but we also want to create a MySQL container that runs in tandem with the to-do app so that we can isolate our database and our front-end app here. In order for these two containers to talk, we're going to need to create a network, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now. So we're going to run this command, docker network create, and the network's name is going to be to-do app. So let me go ahead and run that right now. It's going to give me an error because I already created this, but go ahead and run that and it will create a network there for you. So now what we're doing is we're going to create another container and then attach it to the network that we just created. And so you can see that we have a couple flags here. First ones are going to be the network. So we're tying the network of this container to the to-do app network we created. The alias of this is going to be MySQL. So when we see the container through the network, we're going to know that this container here is the MySQL container. Some of the variables that we have here are going to be the volume that we want to create is going to be the to-do MySQL -data volume. So we're creating a volume there to persist the actual database. And then we have two environment flags specific to MySQL. Again, if you're using something like maybe say Postgres, there's going to be some different environment variables you need to attach to this container. Two of the first ones being in MySQL are going to be the root password as well as the database name. So we know that our password here is secret, and then the name of our database is going to be to-dos, and we're going to be pulling the MySQL version 8 Docker image. So what we're going to do is copy this over, and we're going to go into our terminal and create that. And now we can see we have a MySQL image. Again, I've downloaded locally already, and the container is now running. To confirm that we have the database running, we're going to run this command here. So we're execing -it, and the container ID will go right after that. Then it will spit out the MySQL command, enter in the user, which is root, and then ask us for the password. So let me go ahead and copy this really quick in here and copy the container ID that it gave us, and now replace the placeholder. Enter, it'll ask us for the password, and as we saw before, it was secret. So let me enter that in, and now we are inside of our MySQL database. The next thing it asks us to do is type in show databases to confirm that our databases was created, and we see the to-dos database is here. So our commands ran successfully. Now we can say exit, and now we have a to-dos database. We're going to skip this part because it's not really necessary, but if you want to follow it, it simply just spins up a DNS tool that will allow you to see the IP address of the container and show you that each container has its own IP address. So this networking step really is crucial for these two containers to talk to each other. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to first remove the container of the getting started app that we created first because it's not tied to this network yet. So let me go ahead and remove it first. And then we're going to create another one using this command here. And as you can see, we're doing the same run command here, but with a couple other flags. So there's just, we're tying it to the network here. There's a couple other environments like hooking it up to the MySQL database so that we're actually able to push data to the database. Same thing with the node versions, and then initializing the application with yarn install and run dev. So let me go ahead and copy and paste this over, and there we go. We should have another container built with the Node 18 Alpine image instead. Now, if we want to connect to the MySQL database, let's go ahead and do that here. So we're going to copy this command again, copy and paste this, and then we need to get into the MySQL database. So let me copy and paste that. Enter the password here, and it is secret. So now that we're in, so we're going to do the select function here, and we're going to select all from to-do _items. And we can see that the 3 items that we created inside of the application are now here inside of the database. So we're confirming that the data that we created in the volume is now inside of our MySQL database. And that right there is the power of networking.